Hi, 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 hi. Oh, I think we are live. We are
Okay.
live, everyone. Yes, 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 yes. We are live. Okie dokie. Let's put our game face on. Welcome to the first ever edition of the Service Excellence Roundtable. This is not the customer service show. This is not a business show. This is a global conversation about how service shapes businesses, governments, institutions, communities, and society. Every week on Fridays by 4 p.m., we will analyze real events happening around the world and uncover the service lessons hidden inside them. Today's theme, the reliability crisis. Now, I'm sure most of us are thinking, what is service excellence, right? What do we think about service excellence? What's your take on service excellence? We will share that shortly. But here we'll be having service excellence roundtable. Joining me is my friend Israel and our amazing guest, Mr. Chen. So, quickly, like to tell me what you think about service excellence when you hear service excellence. Are you speaking loud?
Hi, Priscilla. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, for a minute your voice went really faint there. Hi, everyone. So I can't tell what your last was.
Okay, my last words were
That's what I was.
kindly introduce yourself briefly and then tell us what comes to your mind when you talk about service excellence. When people say service excellence,
Okay,
what comes
so
to your
my
mind?
name. Okay, so my name is Gladys Israel. I am a customer experience professional. I've been doing this for like 5 years plus now. I'm also building communities for customer experience professionals. I've been doing that for like almost 2 years, doing communities, working across B2B, B2C, tech, non-tech industries, and helping them improve customer experiences, deliver product success, and all that. And for me, service excellence, there's something about service. It's not just what you do, it's a lot more like how you do it, how the other person takes it. So that whole experience, that whole perception, making it a very good one is service excellence. Yes, that's it for me.
Okay, that works. That works. Now over to you, our amazing guest, Mr. Shagun. Could you briefly introduce yourself and then tell us what comes to your mind when you hear the word service excellence or the phrase service excellence?
Okay. All right. Hi. Can you confirm you can hear me? All right. Thank you.
I can hear
All
you
right.
loud and clear.
All right. Awesome. Yeah. So my name is Shegun Shobodu. I am a certified product manager. Um, I also currently work at Opera Software as the lead quality assurance manager for the African team. So if you're thinking Africa, you're thinking Ghana, South Africa, Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania. I lead a group of quality assurance managers
To hear
at
Shagun.
Opera
Gladys, can you hear
Software.
him?
Oh, I think your network is off. Can you still hear me, Gladys?
Gladys, are you on this call?
Yes, she's here.
Yes,
Okay,
I'm here. I
okay,
can hear.
okay.
Okay. So yeah,
All
like
right,
I was
Shagun,
saying,
please.
I lead a group of amazing quality assurance managers in the West African market, or in the African market, not West African market. In the African market. Coupled with that, I'm a product manager. I consult for a few, or I have consulted and still consulting for a few um, product-led companies, very amazing companies that I've been a part of, right? And then to answer your questions, service excellence really is I would say is the satisfaction a user gets or a customer gets, um, that makes them come back, right? If you treat a customer or a user well, they will definitely come back. It will remain memorable in their mind. They will say, ah, okay, the last time I visited XYZ platform, I was attended to properly, or the last time I went to XYZ place, I was attended to properly. Their receptionist was polite. Their environment was clean. You know, everything looked very attractive. So it doesn't necessarily just fall on the service in itself. It falls on the reputation that you that they give you, that the user or the customer gives you after they've experienced your product, right? So that's what I feel I would call service excellence. Oh, you're muted. You're muted.
Oh, sorry. All right, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
The amazing thing about it is that we have various translation, but everything still goes back down to service. And just like the word says, service excellence, how excellent is your service? And it doesn't have to be tied to only those that are responsible for your customer service, customer experience, customer support. They are not the only people responsible for the excellent service in your organization. Everybody is responsible for that. Service, that excellent service. And most times it's usually best when it's not people in, departments responsible for that. It's always
Mhm.
best when it's coming from departments, that are not technically or job realistically responsible for that. Okay, we're moving on to, thank you both for giving me your amazing, you know, interpretation of that. But then when we talk about service excellence, and I would like us to just make the distinction, yes or no question, is service excellence bigger than customer service? My co-host, what do you think?
For me, it's a yes. It is
Alrighty.
bigger.
How about
Is service excellence bigger than customer service? Is that what you said? Is that the
yes?
question? Yes, yes, it's a yes, definitely. If you are, if in fact they are even intertwined into each other, to be honest, right?
Okay.
It's not like a standalone.
Yeah.
Um, with a good customer service, right? You can get an excellent service in between, right? Say for instance, you walk into Protea Hotel or you walk into Hilton, right? From the entrance, you will see the doorman at the entrance telling you, welcome to Hilton Hotel, or welcome, can I get your bag? Can I do this? Can I do that? That's the first touch point for you as a visitor of Hilton. And then you now go to the reception, and the receptionist says, hi sir, hi ma, um, what do you want, or what room do you want to book, or what services do you think do you want to book for, right? Now with that, you are creating some sort of expectation in the mind of your user, or in the mind of your customer. So all through that process, all through that journey, um, after that person has gone, they will always remember how that doorman greeted them. They will remember how the receptionist treated or spoke to them. They will remember how the cleaner came to knock at their door and say, sir, can we take out the laundries? Can we take out your dirty dishes? So they are sort of intertwined into each other.
I agree. I agree. They're intertwined, but they're not. It's bigger than just customer service, right?
Mhm.
I see service excellence affecting businesses, impacting governments, impacting healthcare, education, transportation, technology, communities, right? So for me, I think that service excellence is a quality of value delivered to people
Yeah.
wherever. All right, thank you so much. Apologies. I had to be notified that the generator, thanks to Nigeria, is happening on my studio, but it's all good. Okay, service excellence is the quality of value we deliver to people. Wherever people serve people, service excellence matters. So that's one thing that we have to move in towards. Now, when critical, can we hear me?
Yes, yes, yes. Go
Now,
ahead.
do you guys agree that service excellence can flow into businesses, communities?
Yes, definitely. I totally agree. Um, yeah, I agree. Short answer, yes, I definitely agree. It cuts across every sector, business, healthcare, whatever, even in anything in your personal relationship with anybody, right? Leaving a very good impression, an excellent impression on that person goes a long way. So yes, I agree.
Alrighty, all right. Thank you about that. How about my wonderful co-host? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think a lot affects service excellence, even government, because community, government policies, they all affect how this is going to work out, if this is going to work out so well. So, yes.
Thank you about that. Thank you for that. Right. So then, moving on to the next segment, service signal. Gladys, you have the floor.
Okay. Now we're looking into things that are happening, service signals we've seen around the world, right? And one thing that happened recently in, give me a minute, something that happened in the UK banking sector is a bank, Lloyd's Banking Group, which is one of the like the way we have Big Four in Nigeria and other places. Lloyd's Banking Group is like their biggest banking company. And for some reason, on a certain day, users were unable to do anything on that platform. I think sometime around 11 on a Wednesday, the system was down. People could not make transactions. People could not log into their system. It was down, and I think it took 3 hours or so. Then the company started reacting on social media and telling people, "Oh, we're experiencing a downtime. Oh, we're working on it. This and that." I mean, we've experienced it, right? So that's what happened to the whole world. Literally, their whole world was put on pause. People could not do anything. Imagine you want to eat, you want to do important, you want to book a flight. You can't make payments. You can't even access your account. That's what happens to the millions of users of Lloyds Banking Group. And that's our first signal. So from that, I think what we want to talk about is seeing what has happened in that part of the world, right? Seeing what has happened in that part of the world, when society is depending on, we've moved from this, we're not in the days of like going to the bank to send money. This is digital banking on their phones, they could not access it. So since we've moved technology, thankfully we've advanced to digital banking and all that. And at this point, on that certain day, it did not work for them, right? Um, the question we want to ask is, does reliability become a public responsibility?
Hmm.
Because technology has made things to advance and now we're all doing things with ease. What does this tell on with this crisis that happened? What does it speak about reliability and the public responsibility of it all? What do you think? Personally, I think the fintech industry is a very volatile. People don't joke with money. It's a very volatile one. I remember seeing some comments and people are like, they should be reimbursed for the stress. They should be compensated for the stress of it all because you can a lot would have gone wrong. Imagine I had a flight to catch, very urgent, and I could not book it. A lot could have gone wrong in people's lives. But again, this is something that it's not 100%. We can't at this point. I don't think it's 100% avoidable. Things like this, very few gaps in the system happens once in the blue moon. Although Lloyd had one in March, but let's not talk about that. So personally, I feel it is a responsibility because you've marketed yourself, you've risen to the top, you're one of the one big four now. There's so much expectations for you. Of course, lots more people will wake up and like drag you by your ear when you're failing. People that did not even plan to log into the app this week would join their voices and cry about it. That is very true. It comes with the marketing. Say Dangote now, Dangote that is very big. If his refinery have an issue, people unrelated to the industry will still join their voices. So I believe that as you're rising in the ranks, your the weight of public responsibility too is gets heavier as you go. That's what I think about all that is happening with this particular incident and public responsibility. Reliability now is very much everybody's expectations of you. So you have a responsibility for about it. What do you think, Shego?
Okay, yeah, I agree. Even let's even try and even digress for a bit, right? Um, I'm sure you remember the time when Facebook was down, or when Instagram was down, when WhatsApp was down at the same time. You could see that even the whole world went bizarre when such issue happened. Now compare that to money, right? Like you said, people don't joke around with their money. People don't joke around with their funds. Even if it's 1 naira, it's still their money, right? So they don't joke around with it. And it happens also in Nigeria. Nigerian banks has done they've shown us shaggy in that aspect, right? I remember um was it during that cash crunch time where you could not access your money, or something happened, there was a downtime, all the banks in Nigeria were just having issues. The only functional bank was Opay at that time, right?
Yeah.
So you can imagine the frustration on people. So how did people now, let's to me, someone like me, I had ATM card, right? My ATM cards were working, right? So I didn't necessarily have to use any of those online banks and stuff like that. But aside me being not being able to transfer, if I had cash in my card, that sort of like solves the problem for me. But now let's now take it to the European side where you mentioned Lloyds Bank having issues, right? Um, Lloyds Bank is a multi-billion dollar or multi-billion pounds bank, right? They are like the Access Bank of Nigeria, right? Of UK. So they are so big, and they are intertwined into literally everything. You want to book a flight, you want to pay for whatever, you want to get anything, right? They are intertwined into it. So it's for, and for countries like that, they don't literally introduce physical ATM card. There is what they call NFC, right? NFC are more of touchless, so you can take your phone and then tap on the POS
Yeah.
machine, or you can do like a contactless transfer, right, to your ATM, to the ATM machine, and then the ATM machine withdraws the money for you, and then you take your cash out of it. So most that is not one of the reliability was one of the things they rely most on is NFC, touchless payment. And that's what I think that's one of the restriction for why people call them out. But I'm just hearing about it right now. So maybe that's one of the reasons why they were being called out. And yeah, if stuff like that happens to any, it can happen to literally everybody and anybody, right? It's now how you treat such situations that matters, right? That's when your customer service should go on steroid, right? You should be updating your customers literally every second, if that's possible, right? Speak to them, tell them we are working on it. Okay, this is what we are doing. We are sorry, we are this, and we are working on it. Just give daily updates just to pacify um your users, right? But if you have a downtime and you just keep quiet, people will drag you like I better pass my neighbor, right? And you will not want that to happen to your brand, because if people drag you, cancel culture will come into play, right? Everybody will say, let's do away with Lloyd Bank. They are a useless bank, or we don't want them again, right? But you don't want that. But if you keep your customers and your users in the loop on what is happening, then they know that you care, right? Then they know that they are not just after their money, or they are not just after, okay, bring your money, let's help you save it. We are after the well-being of, okay, we care about what you are giving us, right? So just give us time to solve it, right? So that's how I see it.
Yeah, thank you so very much. I think one thing you said there, communication helps with reliability. Like that,
Honestly.
we are aware of the
Very-
situation, we are working on it. It gives us
Yeah,
confidence to be reliable.
Mhm.
yeah.
I mean, you assured me. I did not hear it from outside.
Yeah.
Possibly, I have not logged in today. You updated me. So being very proactive in seeing these things early on before it gets to like 3 hours into the issue and then informing everybody, it actually helps make people
Mhm.
feel more safe, feel more confident in your company that, oh, you're a reliable brand. Please, do you have any comments to add?
I mean, you guys both said it all. It's the fact that it's not that you had a downtime or you had an issue. It's communicating so that people are able to plan better. And if you are able to do that, you can definitely get your staff to be much more reliable, customers rather to be able to rely on you
Mhm.
way more because they know that even when you are down, you would communicate that you're down so they're able to make alternate arrangements. I agree.
Yeah, and
I
you work on
completely agree.
it. We trust you for that.
Yes, yes, yes. Do I go on, Gladys?
Yes, you can. Thank you.
And I'm glad that we're talking about reliability because the next thing we'll be talking about now is accessibility. You know, there's this still in the UK, there's this trend in mostly UK, and I'd like to do more research to see if it's becoming a trend in other continents or other countries. But various banks are now, closing their physical branches, you know, as customers are
Interesting.
shifting to digital and mobile banking. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I
Yes,
can
I
hear you. I
can.
can hear you.
Yes, and these banks that have been highlighted to do this are the same Lloyd Banking Group, Barclays, NatWest Group, HSBC. They've all been closing their physical branches, and there's been concerns, in some communities that it will not become like a banking desert. Like when you go to a community and there's no single bank, in that community, it rubs a lot of people the wrong way. Customers like the elderly, rural
Mhm.
communities, people with
Oh,
limited digital access, and maybe small businesses that still rely on physical banking. It's not just, it's only about the matter of time before the efficiency becomes a source of concern. I mean, we already know that yes, a lot of people are going online and adopting digital banking and all, but there's this sense of relief when you know that there's a physical bank somewhere around. And in case if you're not able to get to them physically, sorry, online, you can get to them offline, right? So, as in, what do we think about that? The question now would be is if everybody can ensure that these things, these essential services, right, are gotten, is efficiency creating exclusion? My co host, what do you think?
when you started sharing that narrative, I was like, yes, with the digitalization of the world, companies will say, of course, I'm hiring software developers. I should pay less rent. It sounds logical. I should pay
Yeah.
less rent. I should spend less on certain things. And since I'm already investing, because doing the both of them together, say I'm still having physical locations. Meanwhile, teams want to work remotely, and then I'm still hiring developers. I'm still implementing AI. I'm doing a lot of digitally native solutions. It's logical for business cost factors, right? But then when you brought out the um, perspective of accessibility and taking into consideration the elderly and the likes, it is very, I see the issue. There needs to be like a sort of balance. We can't have currently we don't have night post offices in many towns like that are functional. They exist, but they are not everybody. When was the last time you used night post? But I'm sure there are people. NIPOS has not closed down. It still exists for a certain group of people. So I think the banking system can be like that. Maybe instead of GTB having a branch in every 5 kilometer walking distance, they could have one in like 30 kilometers that serves people and it's less. You still have to serve those people that are the elderly and the people that are not they are not so they don't find the digital world so accessible to them, right? You can still include them while still cutting down because I believe these companies, their own POV is like cutting down on cost or something, and it is illogical. So it is a logical idea for them to want to do that. But yes, inclusivity is very essential for them to think how other people assess them because they started off with those people. So yeah.
Okay.
Yes, it makes sense. And I'd like to hear Shegun quickly. What do you think about that?
Okay, so yeah, I agree. But you have to be strategic about it, really, to be honest. You
Mm-hmm.
can't just wake up one day and say no more physical banks, right? Or no more physical bank location. It's going to kill your brand, like literally kill your brand. So if being strategic, you have to, since you already have the database of your, what's it called, of your customers or your users, so you can know, okay, in this certain location, how many people are within this age range to this age range? How many of them have digital phones, right? How many of them know how to use digital phones? How many of them um, have access to their account, be it ATM card or on their phone, right? I have my mother-in-law, my late mother-in-law never owned an ATM card, right? She always went to the bank. So imagine that kind of person, right? So another, my own mother, my biological mom, she has her ATM, she knows how to access her bank, right, with her phone, and she does her shopping herself. So you have to look at it from that point of view. You don't just say, okay, we have 5 Lloyd banks in different locations in different places. Okay, let's close all the Lloyd banks, or let's close all the JP Morgan banks around, or any of the big four banking organizations around. No, you have to be very, very, like I said, being very strategic sort of helps you. You have to look at it from the technological point of view, from the people that will need the access. So old people, young people. So if you in that community you have a lot of young people, okay, yes, it makes sense to close that branch down. But if in that community you have old people, maybe people from 60 and above, and maybe in that from 60, 65, they don't have mobile phones, or they don't have bank apps on their phone. They literally have to go to the bank and withdraw their money, or go to the counter, write, in fact someone will even help them write their account number, write the amount they want to withdraw and all that stuff. So you have to look at it from that point of view. Now with that, you can now say, okay, let's close this branch, let's close that branch, let's leave this branch, right? And everything just helps. And that also boils down to how quick and how excellent you achieve that result, right? A lot of people will go against it, to be honest, if you try it. For places
Yeah.
like Nigeria, you cannot up and go and say you want to close down physical branches. Do you want people to, the first impression they will have is, do you want to run away with my money? You don't want to have physical bank. You get, um so, and it depends on where you do it, right? Maybe you can do it in Europe, or in the US or Canada, right? But for places like Nigeria, it's almost close to impossible. When
Oh, and
open, yeah,
even Shepherd, just a moment, even in the location that I just used, which is the
mhm,
UK, there is still concerns about accessibility. So I think that for me, what's at play here is the fact
mhm,
that human beings are worried. You know, we are social animals, so they are worried that okay, that's socialization part of us is beginning to go under attack. Because I promise you, if you digitalize everything and your digitalization implies that human beings will no longer interact with themselves, that would be a concern, a major source of fear.
It's not just about even social animals.
mhm.
Yeah.
If you're having issues with a service or platform, you want to have that assurance that I'll go to the office and it will be fixed faster.
Exactly,
What do you mean
exactly,
digital is the only
There's
way
also
to go?
that
So
part.
2 weeks I'll be online with you, and if there's nothing I can do beyond that. Even OPay, as much as
exactly.
they're very digital, they have offices in every state
Every state,
because
exactly.
it is very vital. It's not beyond in, let's say, the hierarchy of things. The social need comes lower than our trust. We've had issues to be less trusting when it comes to financial matters. I mean,
And that's a
that is
worldwide
why
situation.
yes, that is why compliance and security exist as something that fintech and finance institutions have to comply with, right? Financial security systems and processes. So it's very, very rare. I mean, even till date in other parts of the world, they still have banks that have those safe locks where people go and keep their jewelry, go and keep
I
something.
know, right? I saw that in, was that
So
somebody
I'm
was talking?
like, I thought we are past. You could have this in your houses if you want. Now you can have CCTV security in your houses. Why put it in the bank? Because you want to hold someone responsible.
There's also
You want to walk
there's
up to
also people
somebody
that,
and hold them responsible. So
yeah,
we
yeah, that's
like
a whole,
we're, we still have trusting issues. We are not free from those scars. Even people that have not been scarred by
they're learning from
us,
other people's mistakes. So why do they
you
have to
have
be
to
scared
learn. You
first?
have to learn. So that's the number one reasons why banks cannot just do that. That's the number one reasons why people shout at the littlest inconvenience. If something is happening to you on your bank, imagine something is happening on Facebook. You just close the app for a day and you sleep. You won't be that bothered about it. But something is happening on your bank app. You would ask five people, please, are you experiencing this thing too with me? Let me know that I'm not
I'm
the
the
only
only
one.
one, right?
Up. Because it is money. If your other apps can't open, you'll be like, don't wait, I'll check tomorrow. Or maybe, funny enough, you just be fine. You move on. You find other ways around it. But finance, you would not let it go. I mean, that's why before even banks implement stamp duty, whatever, whatever, they have to send us an email, they have to send us a memo, they have to let us know. Else, we're going to ask, like, why are you taking 50 naira out of my wallet? What's
You
happening?
get, you
My
get,
money.
you get, you get it, you get it. And
So,
and and
finance
yeah,
is a
that
very touchy something for humans, for us.
yeah, that actually, in fact, I have it. I have several scenarios like that where where they were deducting money from my account, right? DTP was deducting money from my account, and I was walking on the road. I was literally going out with my friend. And I just started seeing debit, debit, debit on my account immediately. I didn't even wait. It's like I just reported it, deactivated my card first, and then the next day I went to GTB office. Right, it was not far from me. So imagine if they only had
So,
like a digital space.
You know,
Imagine
there's something about that thing. It's not like you can't start sending emails and going on
you
I
social
get
want
media.
to, I
There's
want
something
to
about
see
walking into the
somebody.
banking hall like, okay, you guys are going to
I
get to
want
the
to
bottom
see
of this thing.
somebody
And
to
know
talk
that,
to.
yes, I want to see
Yes.
somebody I know that I am holding a human being that has flesh and blood accountable for my issues.
Exactly.
I want to hold
Exactly.
them accountable for my issues.
Well, I would
Not
love to see.
online. Online, I
I would
don't
love
know
to
if
see
you even
how
truly work there.
they
If I can find you by
okay.
your name, I think they would minimize their offices. Like even now,
I would love to see.
companies that are going remote, they don't just whip like go remote. They somehow like you have to go into it slowly. Maybe you go to like hybrid once a week, 3 days a week,
Yes,
depends. But I
yes,
think they would
yes,
introduce the system in
yes.
some small ways. Maybe they could say instead of 5 branches being in this town, let's have three.
Exactly.
They
Exactly.
would not just cancel it. They can't just cancel it immediately. That would be very, very. That would be nah.
Okay, I would love to see how that plays in the UK. I'll be following this story and seeing the experiences, and if possible, maybe write a story about it on LinkedIn to find out from users in the UK how exciting, and even on X, to see like, how exciting this new phase is for them. I know that yes, some continents are different from some other continents. The digital adoption for in some countries are higher than in other countries. But I would
Yeah.
love to see in general how this particular new set of adoption by these banks, you know, affect actual users of their services. I think the next to be you, Gladys. Let's see what you got.
Okay. Okay, so if you've gone to an airport before, you know that we're talking about digital things right now. If you go to an airport, your luggage handling process is not done manually anymore. They put it into a machine that like rotates it and whatever not. You just go ahead with your boarding. Your luggage will literally board differently, right? So something happened in Heathrow Airport. People boarded a flight. Their luggage did not board it with them. So the whole luggage handling system was down, and it was down for hours. Some people waited. Some people had to travel without their bags. Like, I'll think about it later. I'm too much in a hurry or whatever. So it was down for hours. Sorry. And that's what happened. They were able to fix it again after hours. And right now, because of that, they have like over 20 baggages to sort, to deliver to people that have left, to appease customers, and lots of all those things. So give me a minute, please. Like, I'm testing.
Is allowed. You can drink water, right? Just a moment. Okay, Gladys will be joining us shortly to continue that story. But I can already tell. Okay, Gladys is Shagun's here. Wonderful, Gladys. Welcome, welcome. I already know how terrible that's going to go down. So, what do you mean that I'm not going to see my Gucci perfume? Do you know what I'm going for? Give
What,
me
do,
one instant.
what if I'm going for an interview and I'm not dressed for it? Like, what I wear is in that bag. And
Yeah,
the funny thing about
that is
this is
that's easily understandable if customers can use that as an excuse. Sorry about the cough.
the funny thing about it is you
Mhm.
most times with these glitches you don't know beforehand. So it's not like I knew and I carried an overhead bag into the plane. I did not
Yes.
know. I gave you my whole luggage. And now I'm in my destination. I've gone to Dubai for a holiday and my bag is not there. My summer body clothes are not there.
I know, right? And then, oh my God, oh my goodness, you can
And
imagine.
now you have 20 bags to sort, which is like a backlog. Thankfully, the system is up, it can get it fast, but now you have to tag bags to people that have gone and deliver it. It's a lot. I mean, let's say you were only going to Chicago once this week. People have gone to Chicago. You have to plan for bags to go to Chicago. So, I mean, that was an automated system, and that is where we are moving with digital things. We're automating automation field. And funny enough, this is not the first time. They said this like it has happened multiple times this year alone, and it has cost the business about 10 to 13 million or so. So this is an
Wow.
inconvenience somehow.
Yeah.
Automations are having a gap. Give
Uh,
me a minute.
I think I think that one thing I've noticed is that when there's over reliance on automations, the fallout can be very drastic and it can take twice manual labor to be able to fix it. Have you noticed that?
Yes, I get that. I think it's because with automation comes speed and efficiency together,
True.
right?
Sorry about that. How do
That thing
we?
that you whatever it to put it back to the humans, you would need 10 humans or so.
So at the end
So
of the, are we not able to rely on systems anymore? What measures can be put into play?
I think for this one, a bit more proactivity would have helped the situation. Say
Okay.
while people are checking in, if this people waited for hours and this did not work out, if they could wait for maybe 1 hour and somehow I find a lineup of on ground staff to get that sorted, they would somehow maybe delay flight on almost everybody will get to where they're going with their bags. But because of automation, we don't have a team on ground to do that emergency check-in. It's kind of like, let's say you go to a bank now. Should I use a bank? What system do we still have the automated process and the human process still working side by side?
I think
Um,
fintechs do that.
no, let me use another example. Say you have a rice cooker,
Uh-huh.
right?
Uh-huh.
Yes. And for some reason, your rice cooker is not working, but you have stove. You would be cooking because you have visitors. Maybe the rice cooker will get it done in 15 minutes, but your stove would get it done in 30 minutes. You will still sort out that process while trying to figure out what's up with my rice cooker. I think that's what
Yeah.
would have helped them. Say this is bad. I'll just call. People normally have, let's say in sports now. I know it doesn't happen, but people already normally have like standby staff. Hospitals have it. Find them, come in, get this thing sorted while somebody is still trying to brainstorm whatever blocks this. So we don't have this gap. I mean, costing the business 10 to 13 million is a lot of money. And repeatedly, I would want to have standby staff. I would want to have standby staff or something. At least it's not a lot, but even if it's going to be slower, the process gets done. And it will be more inconvenience. Delayed flight is less of an inconvenience than getting to your destination without your baggage somehow. Because now you have to file for your baggage. What if I never get my baggage? You know, there's this thing where people lose their baggages. It happens.
Yes.
What if I don't get
Yes.
my baggage? How you tagged it? Blah blah blah. What if I go to Chicago, my baggage gets to Detroit? What if I'm taking like two-way flights? So wherever I took with the airport, I've left there, and my bag is getting there. So I think maybe delayed. I don't know. It's a very dicey situation because what say I took a flight by 2 and I want to get to my destination by 4, even that delay is costing every customer something. It's
It
very
is. It
dicey.
is.
You're costing every customer something. Talk more of with the luggage. But I'm sure internally within their businesses, they are thinking of ways that it could be better, surely, because this has happened multiple times. Even the one with the lawyer is funny that it has happened before, and the one that happened before was worse. But yeah, I think businesses would somehow look at their systems, review it, test it internally, and have somehow backup help available. That would have helped. In these cases, backup help would have worked for this. Somehow you find your way about it.
Yeah. Okay, I completely agree. I completely agree with what you just said, right? And it still brings us back to the issue of digital dependency, right? People are extremely reliant on and dependent on digital systems now for everyday life. Today we bank digitally, today we travel digitally, we learn digitally, government services are
Healthcare
beginning.
access.
Yes, government agencies or services are beginning to be accessed digitally. We communicate digitally and everything. And the more digital society becomes, the more vulnerable it becomes when system fails, right? And because of that, you have, I mean, take a look at what happened with Lloyd banking outage, which was the first incident we dealt with, right? Then the second one, now this one that you're talking about, which is the Heathrow baggage system, right? It's becoming very obvious that those dependencies are worrisome, right? It's worrisome, and while it's very essential, and maybe everybody should thrive to, go work towards an extremely automated system. I believe in hybrid. I believe in hybrid because even human beings that are like the creators of these systems, we also have our downtimes, right? And
Yes.
even in these downtimes, we are able to, you know, someone else is able to replace, the services that we offer or the products that we offer. And that's why monopoly is a terrible situation because when that only source is gone, there's panic. There's panic. So yes, do you think that um, do you think that these have we become too dependent on digital systems? Do you think that?
I think we have trusted them more than we are equipped for. Let me say for the Lloyd now, anybody that is doing banking. Now, the case that happened before, the Lloyd case we cited is they were unable to use their bank. There's a case that happened before that where over 500 people's personal information was exposed. And that's banking, and that's very critical, sensitive data. So somehow, if you're working with products, you always have internal cybersecurity teams they have people that are trying to hack the system before real hackers. So you're testing
Yeah.
the fall of what you're building. You're
Yes.
always testing things. Just like if you're a cab driver, you have to check your engine before you get on the road. Let it not embarrass you then. Same way, you have to test. Say today we are using this baggage chain now. We're trying to see if it flows easily. If there's any, let's know if we're hearing any creaky sound that needs oiling, if there's any checks. We have to do those kind of things. So I think people are somehow trusting the systems that they are not doing these background checks that could tell signs that things are not okay.
Okay, I think more of like having some form of system notification, right?
Internal
About
checks,
it down.
internal checks. Like
Yes.
the happen now, this is like the sixth time it is happening, or this is not the first time it's happening inside 2026. And that's a lot. So you know
Oh
if
my.
there's something that to be replaced, something to be fixed, it can't keep happening. Do you get?
Oh, I
It's
agree.
got to
I
be
agree that it
replaced.
can't keep happening. I agree it can't keep happening. I also agree that checks to be put in place. However, I also believe that if you are going to run a fully automated system, you should have a system notification that lets you know something is about to go down, before it goes down, or at least minimum 5 to 10 minutes after when it has gone down. And then when that happens, in my opinion, immediately the manual process that overrides the automated process comes into play. Because here's the reason. That's why I was always advocate for hybrid. When that happens, the manual override now becomes what is being used to ensure that that service still goes on. Right? Now, look at, you can imagine the amount of hula baloo that have gone on at the airport. You would have customers, passengers shouting over each other. You would have confusion in the check-in port. You would have confusion at the luggage area. There would just be confusion everywhere. And that's going to cost Heathrow Airport a lot of money. But if that manual override was there and there's a notification to say, oh, this system is down, or if possibly the teams are trained to be able to locate the signs, all they have to do is just activate hybrid ASAP, right?
Yes. That's why I say
They-
we are trusting these digital systems more than they are ready for. Like with a car now, if you're driving a car, there's no app or tool that will tell you, oh, your engine is bad. You have to open the car and check before you enter road. We don't
oh,
have the
but these
digital.
new sets that the rest are doing, like the ones that are coming out from China now, Tesla, I
Yes,
think those ones
now.
are showing you
Yeah,
downtime before
Tesla.
your
Tesla
screen.
will tell you what's wrong. The
Yes, but that is
BMW.
Tesla. So many, we have so many cars that are not Tesla. What
I
are you going
agree.
to do?
They are new
What are you
cars.
going
They
to
are
do?
new cars. They are
I mean,
new
even
cars
with
that does that.
airplanes, one thing they do with airplanes is before it leaves the airport, they have to have it checked. They do that every day. They do that almost before every flight. If you fail to do it, you are liable for whatever happens in this whole company. The company will sue you because they have people they hired for that. It's very
Yes.
serious because traveling on air, as much as it is fastest, it is very risky. So they have those risk control measures, right? Same thing with this. Humans are the ones that check it for some because we don't have we've not everything has been digitalized yet. So someone should check. Just like let's say an escalator in a mall. Sometimes you
Yeah.
go and the escalator is not working, right? Maybe sometimes
And then
a
they'll convert
lever
it to stairs.
they'll convert it to stairs. Sometimes a lever or stairs. There's a way the engineers and whoever people know how they check these things that okay, this our sliding door is not going to open today. I'm seeing then you implement hybrid. Oh, our sliding door will not open today. Let's leave it open and people come in manually. Oh, let's find something. Hybrid, always have that backup. Always have that backup. If you
Yes.
for you to not have the
That's what
backup,
we are
maybe
preaching for.
maybe you're like Tesla, you don't need the backup because you will tell the owner. You will scream and say, I'm
Oh
not
no,
driving you anymore. This car is about to blow.
Tesla does have a backup system. I know because I think there was a time that one of their model was really having issues, and Elon was on X giving us updates on to what they're fixing. Even though Tesla is running a lot of automated and some other electronic or electric cars are running some kind of updates. There's been cries, and I think there've been plans to put that manual override in case that happens. Because imagine when you are having a self-driving car and then now cross a location where there's no network.
That's why I say we are trusting digital systems.
I
That
don't
is
know.
what
I don't know
people
if it's the Nigerian in me, guys. I don't know if it's the Nigerian in me. I don't. I'm sorry. I am not trusting anything that I can find on the
see. That's why I say we are trusting the systems more than we are ready for. Because what do you mean there's no network? How will I work?
To be honest, right? To be honest, for cars like Tesla, it's owned by Elon Musk. There's no way in on Earth that you will run out of network, right? Yeah, it can happen. It can happen. Yeah,
Excuse you, sir.
Excuse me.
Excuse you,
it
sir.
can happen. It can happen. Now imagine this, right? Elon Musk owns what's that
Starlink.
thing?
Starlink.
Starlink, right? He owns Starlink,
Do you know
and then
that
he owns
Starlink
a
does not
Tesla.
work when rain is falling? So if Tesla is connected to Starlink, if rain is falling, it will not work.
You can
I
imagine
don't
running a
know.
Tesla in Nigeria and you think you have Starlink and it's working, and the rain starts falling or breeze just blows, and
Well,
then that thing that
You will
happens to
just
MTN
be there.
happens to your Starlink.
and then secondly,
See you see
I'm
10 million
sure.
bridge.
I, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure the owner of the car will know how to drive. Let's be honest, right? If you own a
That's why we
Tesla,
are advocating for hybrid. We are not
yeah,
saying that they
you will
cannot
definitely
drive.
know
We're
how to
just saying
drive, just
that
in case.
Shey,
You
yes.
have a
let
driver.
me tell you what will happen, right? Somebody will buy Tesla for their 16-year-old that it's a digital car, drive it. When it stops on third mainland, she will call you her father because daddy, this car has stopped and I cannot drive manual.
No,
You trust
Tesla,
even you
Tesla
you are
has
trusting us that everybody can do something. Don't trust us. That I use an air fryer to fry chicken does not mean I can cook fried chicken exactly like that for you. If the
Of
air fryer
course
does
not.
not work, you will
Exactly.
eat
Of
boiled
course not.
chicken.
Of course not. So for you to
So
buy, to be honest, for you to buy a car like Tesla, right? You definitely will learn how to drive one way or the other. It's not like you don't know how to. No, no. Forget
trusting
the
them.
Nigerian factor. Forget the Nigerian factor. You can't own a car abroad without a valid driver's license. You can't own
Oh
a
no,
car if you
which brings
don't have a
us,
permit,
there are various
right?
countries that have different laws, Shago, right? But now when we're talking about this, we're talking about the over dependency on digital
Yeah.
systems.
So we
Yeah.
are still talking about that. So I'm still going into that direction, right? So the thing is, we're in the 21st century. Let's be honest, all of us we are lazy people. To be honest, see, before nobody will mind saying, okay, let me go to the banking hall to go and withdraw my money. But now, what? If you tell me that something is wrong with my account, I will think about it for 3 days before I say I want to stand up and go
Honestly,
and go to the banking hall. Right? So
anybody anybody that I'm owing money, the person will wait.
Wait.
exactly. So it's the 21st century, and
Yeah.
as everything happens, we are advancing. See, everybody is talking about AI. Some 5, 10 years ago, nobody, it's not like people are not talking about AI, but right now, everybody, you can't go anywhere and you will not hear AI, right?
True.
So the dependency is there. Everybody wants to, nobody likes off ahead, right? If that's a
Yeah.
good language to use. So everybody depends on this technology. So imagine it, there are different scenarios like that. Everybody is using WhatsApp now. Imagine if WhatsApp crashes and WhatsApp says they are not going to function for the next 1 month. Everybody is going to go crazy, right? And how will I talk to my family? How will I talk to my customers? This one, that one. So it's the same, right? For dependency. Once you are used to something, it's like an addiction, to be honest. Once you are addicted to something, it only takes the grace of God to take away dependency for you. And
I
that's it
completely
about
agree.
reliability on technologies, on digital technologies, right? Is you can't take it out. Once you have tasted something good, it's almost impossible to say, I know, I don't like it again. Let me taste something bitter, right? So that's how it works in the
And then
technology side.
the interesting thing about this is the more invisible the service becomes. Eh? The more
Exactly.
its failure becomes.
Exactly.
Like it can be
Exactly.
very crazy. Then
Exactly.
people will rarely think about electricity until there's no power, right? When there's we're like, oh, okay, wait though, it's electricity. Then people rarely think about, let's say banking systems until they cannot access their money. They're like, wait, where's my money?
Exactly.
People rarely
Exactly.
think about government systems until they need them. The reliability crisis here is not just about the service failures. It's about that growing dependence of society on systems that people assume will always work. Then when it doesn't work and there's no
That
proper
is the thing
communication.
with expectations of service excellence. I mean, if you're doing the service, you should work in a way
Yes.
that I will not feel like I need to
Mm,
find you.
exactly. Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
If you're a bank, if you can exist without me coming, I mean, you did provide digital solutions, and your
Yeah.
dream is that nobody has to come to your office. Ask the banks, they hope that over 500 people don't come to their offices because you offer digital. So,
I would
yes,
rather be at home.
the more you
I'd rather
scale
be at
up
home.
in your efforts, the more you
Yeah.
scale up your efforts, of course, it will be harder to trace some things in the back end. That's why when you as you scale up, you hire people to monitor these signals. If you work in fintech now, you know we have NIBs and we have like all these. I think there's Grafana. Grafana helps you to see all the banks in Nigeria which one is having network failure because the system has evolved to that phase. So we are now monitoring them. When I worked with Money Point, we go to Grafana. So if you want to do transaction, like if you want to do a transaction with a Money
It
Point,
tells you the percentage of
that's when
success.
you check and be like, GTB does not have network. Before trying it, we are seeing it. GTB does not have network because we now. So I think with the evolution, being reliant on something is not a bad thing.
Exactly.
It's you
At
failing
all.
in your responsibility of my reliance that is the bad thing.
It's delivering on your promise.
Yes, it's delivering on your promise. When you fail, I mean, it's not a good thing. I don't like to look for you. I just like the service. I like the service I'm receiving. The solution I want it more than I want to see your face. That's the thing with every business. So,
Period.
I mean, me and you should not be best friends because I'm coming to complain every week.
And they will not do like
That's
they're doing you a favor. Ah, sister, you have come again. Yes, I've come again because you guys have failed me.
the only reason why I'm
Ah, my
coming.
goodness. I'm
That
certain
is
this
the
is
only reason
how
why I'm coming.
I thank you very much. And then we're moving on to the next segment, Gladys, and that's the governmental on your table, sis.
I believe government was a subject I was good at, but I don't think. Okay. Anyways, like Shegun said, we are very reliant on things, and I like it. Like me, ever since I discovered the washing machine, I would not go back if I can. I would not go back if I can help it.
My favorite is air fryer. I love that device.
See, so many people love it. I'm not there yet, but once I get there, it's over.
It's addictive, sis. You just be frying everything fryable.
Everything. It's your light.
Honestly,
It's your light that is going now.
I
It's
don't
your
care.
unit that is
that's the
going
thing.
now.
That's the thing. The least you can do as a business person is trust that we can pay for the service, but deliver excellence. This is something that, just to digress, this is something that I have an issue with Nigerians. Okay, inflation is happening. You are increasing the prices of services. Why are you reducing quality?
And it's cut
Is
across
Thank you.
every sector.
increase the price. I'll pay for it. Why are you reducing quality?
Thank you. Thank you.
Why will I buy something and the nylon is not transparent? What is the purpose of the nylon? It's not to cover what I'm buying. Why will I buy food and it is less food, but it is more expensive? See, that's one thing that Nigerian business models are failing at. Increase the price, all right,
Yes.
but don't reduce the quality. I'm paying for that quality, still deliver. Is what attracted me to you in the first place. Then you lose customers and you cry that is inflation that is making you lose customers. It's not inflation. Somehow we are making do, we are stretching ourselves to still afford you, but you're reducing quality. Why?
Oh yes, it's
Why?
inflation that makes you to lose the customer. It's just they are not very being very truthful about the kind of
You're
inflation.
not
There's company informed inflation, and then there's a country informed inflation. But then let's see, the next story about the government use for digitalization, Gladys.
okay. Um, so I don't. I know so many people. Like when I was growing up, I did not think of government as service providers. I thought of government as government. They have something that they have a job,
Lord
but
and
government
Master.
is government. Yes, you have a job, but government is government. I did not think of because when you think of them as service providers, your expectations are more valid now. Your
Mm-hmm.
expectations are valid. Then you are like you have a job, do your job. But now my expectations has backing. It has
Mm-hmm.
backing your job to me. I pay
Mm-hmm.
tax, blah blah blah. So now I want to talk about government. Yeah, government as service providers. The question is, should citizens expect government services to be as responsive as private sector services?
Okay, can
I
I?
do. Should
Very good
citizens
question.
expect government services to be as responsive as private sector services? With my new grown up, before when you were in secondary school, your parents paid the bills, they paid the taxes, so you had less questions. But knowing that these services are things that we pay for with our tax, they are not free services. Yes, you should be as responsive. I
If
mean,
not more, I think it should be more
more, you
responsive.
should be more because
It
just
should be more responsive.
yes, because private goes into things because of capitalism, monetary gains. They don't go because of solution finding mostly. But you're just like a doctor. You took an oath to make me live a more convenient life. You have oaths. You were sworn in. I voted you in at the very best. I chose you that you can do this, and I paid you for what I chose you to do. Say you're a vendor on the street, I have a wedding and I paid you. You're the best. You say you
Yes.
can do it. Well. I pay you to cater to my wedding. Won't you cater to it? Why are you
Yes.
why are you having caps? So I
That's what
think
you
the
promised.
government should be as responsive. Why we have so many private businesses sef is because the government is failing. That is why we have
Especially
private. If the
especially in
government
areas that impact.
if the government was responsive, if the government was working, we would not have as much private companies. We would not have the fintech if CBN and everybody was working. We would not have NGOs needing to do the goodwill of the country if education was good and accessible. What do we need edtech if the educational system was updated and it was digital? Like as the world is going forward, due to as the educational curriculum you're going forward, my child would be okay going to university to study computer engineering instead of all school. But the government is not. You're not updating your systems, you're not delivering on your KPIs. Do they have KPIs? I don't think they do. We don't know. They don't
The
have
worst,
KPIs.
the worst is the lack of responsiveness. I think that I don't know if it's written in the constitution for most of these governmental agencies, but I hear that some countries have gotten it right. I hear that in Finland, um, their government agencies is quite responsive. I don't know about other countries in Europe. I also hear that in the US, some governmental agencies are responsive, some aren't, right? But I think that governments across the world should figure out how to be responsive because their core responsibility is to the citizens. They are supposed to serve citizens. But it's beginning to seem more like most governments across the continent, across the world, they begin to see themselves as people that should be served instead of the other way around. But
They are
then
taking
these
government,
citizens, mhm.
they are taking government to be monopoly and capitalism. You're not into capitalism, you're into government. You're into leading, serving
Yeah,
a people. You collect tax, you're into serving a people. It's not capitalism, it's not what you should hold position for 3 10 years, hold contract money and not do the job, just be holding and holding and holding. That's not how it works. It's not just lack of responsiveness, it's just lack of care for service delivery. Like not service excellence, service delivery itself. You don't care to deliver the service, that's just it.
before we even begin to talk about if the service was excellent in the first place.
Because
Shaga, how about you? What do you think about this situation?
Yeah, it's quite interesting listening to you guys actually speak about government, right? Government. If you ask me, I would say I don't treat government as a service really. Um, just how many weeks ago? I think it was last week. I was trying to register on a healthcare, this Lagos State healthcare. service website. They call them NHIS.
Okay, okay.
NHIS. National
Yes.
Health something something. I've forgotten the acronyms, right? And yeah, they said okay, sign in, sign up, do the normal this thing. Then I got to the part where they said I should enter my NIN, right? You know, in that part, when you enter your NIN, they send you a code to your phone. Only if they are going to send me the code tomorrow, that's when I will see it, right? I never got the code. And that's a government website. Like it's managed by Lagos State government. Imagine that kind of, imagine someone that did not have money or someone that can't afford basic health care, but and I just quickly want to help this person set up this thing so that when they go there, instead of them paying 100,000, they will just pay 20,000, right? Imagine that for a government owned website. So it tells a lot about the non, really the anyhowness of
Totally.
how the government is, right? The government in this side of the world, they are not there to serve the people, let's be honest. They are there to serve themselves, right?
Yes,
Um,
in this side
and
of
yeah,
the
people might say, it's not true. When you get there, you know what is happening. It's a lie. I know a lot of people that they are just there to go and eat and clean mouth and move on, right? They're not there to really do anything to develop this thing. Other countries all over the world, they don't joke with their people. Any small thing, they've started protesting. Look at France, right? They hate Macron like anything. Macron, their president, the president of France. Any small inconvenience that it, their citizens have gone out, they've gone to protest,
that's
right?
because they know their rights as the
Exactly.
It
parts of the
wasn't
service.
it wasn't always like that, recall.
It's not.
That they had to have a blood revolution before they got to this point.
That's
So
the thing about governments. It's they don't have India. What's the thing they do when they bring somebody into a service? India, I don't even know the word. In their
they
inauguration, they were not told that they were service providers, that their service is to the people. I don't think they, because they do not regard the people. I should not have to, because me doing a protest is like me dragging your brand on social media. You
exactly
do not have to come to this embarrassing
point.
pattern before you
Yes,
do something, right? Now,
exactly.
see, remove Nigerian government because they are not among things in the world. Like other governments, if you want to assess how responsive they are, think of their healthcare. If you call 911, you get help ASAP or
Hello,
as
can
soon as.
anyone hear me?
Yes, I
Yes,
can
yes.
hear you now.
Okay,
If you
I
go
need
to
to
their
operate for
emergency, you get care. Like somehow, there are so many things that are responsive. In Nigeria, I don't think there's a you would call for ambulance and you get it while you're still alive.
for where?
If you're
For
in emergency,
where?
Okay,
For
so
okay,
if
okay.
where?
Truth be
there's a
told,
Nigerian, Uncle K, that is living in Canada, and he said that if you kidnap if somebody is missing, they'll send an Amber Alert, and the Amber Alerts would go to every digital device of everybody in the country, and within hours they'll find that missing person. Meanwhile, we have children that are in the bush for days and days. We have so many things happening. So
oh,
ours
let's
is
talk
not
about
even
those children in the bush. Those children were kidnapped before the
something.
family of
Well,
Ajimobi.
ours is not even part of any.
It's very easy to send Amber Alert. Very easy. I've worked in telecommunications. It's very easy to send Amber Alert, right? Um,
It's not
the
even
phone
okay. They kidnapped the former minister of power, sorry, that wanted to go for Oyo State. They kidnapped his family.
Adelabu
Shey they have found his family.
within
The
weeks,
same way
but
you
those
rescued
children
the
are still
family.
there.
Why did you not rescue the children? Mind you, I think there was an
So
interview where a politician is like was saying that they know where the kidnappers are, that they live among them, but you can't do anything. Why can't you do anything? Why don't you want to do anything? Why are we afraid? Shane Makinde was doing an interview. I was like, if we protest that we are making the kidnappers angry. Hello, hello, hello. I don't understand. Why are we trying to appeal to the feelings of criminals? What do you mean we are making
exactly
them angry and agitated?
that
Hello,
is
it's not.
And
that falls back.
guys, coincidentally, today is June 12th, Democracy Day. I don't know whether this just
Yeah.
came up. It
I
just
told my neighbor today. My neighbor was like, we have got to be joking. We do not have it." We do not have that democracy. It's play.
We
Meanwhile,
don't.
there's a
We
view.
don't.
I'm just hearing it. I think somebody posted on TikTok, oh, their worst nightmare is a tenor becoming 6 years. I sent my friend, I was like, hope this is like, when is this happening? Hope it's there. My friend was like, it hasn't happened, but there's a bill that is in the Senate office. Why are you having a bill to make your tenure 6 years? If you're a business, you're a service provider, you are not supposed to context for extra time. It's me that is supposed to say, oh, I love you, I want to
We
stay
say, I
with your
love
service.
you. Go back. We want you again.
You do so well, I want to stay with your service. Why? The sovereignty you get for nothing. The set of sovereignty you get for nothing. You deliver nothing. Nothing, no holds,
You
no
see,
this. Meanwhile, there's a country in the world where they have a plan. I like them for that. Every person that comes, like they have a 16-year plan for the development of their country. So if you come, you do projects that are aligned with that plan. But ours is just, they're just doing monopoly and capitalism. Because this governor will come, start a road project. The next one will come, stop this road project halfway, continue another thing that nobody will continue after. Like, we are not, if everybody, if Nigerian leaders could just say, okay, because you cannot solve all the problem in your tenure if you think about it. Say in your 4 years, you will do education. All schools will be updated, labs, everything, everything. The next person say, oh, in his own 4 years, we're going to have top healthcare services. In 16 years, we'll go far. In 16 years, we're going to go far. But when everybody comes, they just think of themselves with light bulbs in different direction. When we want to talk about government as a service provider, a responsive one, a progressive one, let's not include Nigeria, please.
oh
I
no,
You
nobody
agree.
make
was in Nigeria.
Yes,
What we
let's
are
not
I
criticizing.
agree.
because this will add to the netizens that it
I agree. I
Now,
totally agree to that.
I mean, if you look at governments right now, governments worldwide, where human beings live, right? Um, they're increasingly moving their public services online, tax services, identity service, licensing, healthcare, citizenship engagement. Now, the only thing that seems to be moving online that is very active are services that involve citizenry paying tax. You understand? Paying tax. You have what other services? I mean, using our current atmosphere, society, now that's Nigeria. Why other governments are bringing all these things down in order for them to be easily accessible to by the citizens? Here, they are not. They don't want to be accessible to you. The only thing that quickly works is the payment system part of their public services, both
even the one they always
inquiry,
do online,
escalations. I don't think most of them are very active, right?
even
And
the
you
one
see
they
that
make accessible online, there's a sprinkle of frustration that will still make you walk into their office where you pay. International
Yeah.
passport, you will come back to the office and then you pay your dues in the office. If you skip it, they'll frustrate your process. You might be lucky if you bypass, but they will likely frustrate your process. Let me not even talk.
So
Even the
yeah.
tax,
So
not all
that
states have tax online. Only Lagos
that's
State
the thing
has a
about
website for
Nigeria.
yeah.
pardon?
That's the thing about Nigeria. It's interesting. That's why people like us, when we travel abroad, we progress faster because Nigeria will frustrate every iota of your being, right? And you don't, I think you just make sure that you want to just leave the shores of the country. So it's totally called for, right? That Nigeria is not out of the many countries. Although yes, we are all advocating, yeah, I want Nigeria. But to be honest, Nigeria is not where we want it to be. Even though today is Democracy Day, everybody is just there, right? And we are not.
I did not even know about it till like in the afternoon.
So,
The
you
office.
can imagine this. You can imagine the feeling everybody is having in progressive countries. Let's be honest. Nobody talks about when you want to campaign. Nobody talks about I will give you good road. I will give you constant electricity. I will give you water. In other countries in the rest of the world, they don't talk about these things. They are basic amenities for crying out loud. They talk about equality, they talk about
They talk about
inclusion,
world business,
change,
world economy,
economy. Do you
in
understand?
their
But here in this side
in
of the
their
world, we are
manifestations.
talking about roads, we are talking about schools, we are talking about what are we as in 2026. So to
I
be
want to speak
honest,
on that. Sorry. You would in the world politics, they'll talk in the world politics, they'll talk about policies, right? They'll talk about world business and trade. Oh, we're going to expand production employment, this and that. In Nigeria, what a politician will promise you is they'll say power, good lights, good roads, education. Mind you, they are promising you something that is not delivered now, and they will still not
Yes,
deliver it once they get there. Is that part
exactly.
that muzzles me. Once you get there, you will still not deliver it.
They will forget about it and look for something more important, right?
Because if the
Yeah.
last person, if the first person that promised us these bare minimums delivered, at least the standard will be a bit higher. But we are still going back to the ground bare minimum. Everybody is
Like
promising us lights
that's
because
it.
nobody
That's
does
it.
it.
So I don't see government as a service, right? They are not even offering me a service. Let's be honest. They are just collecting
I
my
take what
money
they
and
give. At this point,
they are just
And
collecting my money and
we
doing
can
what
look
they
at
like.
it. We can look at it from, of course, we're all Nigerians here right now, and I would love to see other governments like from Botswana, Uganda, the US, to hear about how their governments. Because the truth of the matter is, it's difficult for you to find a country that people are not complaining about their government. But you see,
no,
Nigeria's own is a special kind of case study.
Mm-hmm.
You see,
again,
wherever
what
other people's complaints started from, ours is way beneath it. So,
everybody is complaining about something, but yours is bare minimum. Yours is the exit. Ah, God. I've been on global meetings. Oh, Lord. And it's the funny thing is, our government lets us down in such a way that, in your family now, say you have a sibling, a younger brother, right? And your younger brother does not respect you. When his friends come around, they would also not respect you. They'll treat you how he treats you. I remember when I went to our neighboring country, Benin Republic. I was there, lights never blinked for a second. I was using MTN. The MTN that services us there, services them there. I was joining meetings up and down. I never buffered on my screen. I was like, MTN could be this good, network could be this good. Now that service provider is providing you service in your own country, but because your country policies and government do not care,
Are rubbish.
they give you below bar service. Because MTN cannot do this thing they are doing here in another place. I'm like,
That's it.
why?
That's it.
The only
That's it.
time the only time my screen buffered was when my data was exhausted, and I know that yes, data is exhausted. I recharged. I never had issues. I was so surprised. I was like, you'll be walking on the streets, no matter even if you change your location, you're not bringing your phone up. You're not saying, oh, this place no network, that place there's network. There was network, and it's the same MTN company. I'm
so
like, hello.
when these governments, do not give the basic minimum to citizens, it's looking more like they're setting us up to fail, and
It's
then they're taxing from our failures.
It's literally that's how it is, right? That's the literal
your
meaning.
failure feeds their classism
Yeah,
and their pride.
exactly.
Actually, if we're all successful, who would they bribe with 500 naira?
Exactly. Exactly. Or
But
who would they say
they can still make enough money to be able to make more, to be able to tax more.
nobody is ready to do that,
If
right?
if they
Nobody.
if they elevate you, your standards will be high for bribery. You will not be doubling. You will not be doubling for 5,000. Your standards will be too high, and they are also being very frugal with giving. Because if you see what they are giving in campaigns now, I think recently they were giving something somewhere, and the packages they were giving to people was tagged COVID-19 palliative. COVID-19 palliative of years ago, you're giving it now as gifts to people. You kept it.
6 years
And then people,
later, 6 years later,
oh,
wait.
oh God, my
At what
dear.
point? Wait, at what point will this deserve this?
But
Decide like enough is enough. There's no reason why water should not. You should not stone those people pure water. Like, I'm sorry, I don't advocate for violence, but what do you mean COVID-19 palliative in 2026?
somebody did birthday and shared COVID-19 palliative now. It still
Oh yes,
exists.
yes, yes. Auntie Funke
It
Abifola
still
taking over.
exists.
Yes,
So
Yeah.
that's the level of recently. I think they gave some people cups of rice and 1.5 in one place.
yes.
If you're rich,
Okay.
what will cup of rice do for you now, Priscilla? If someone wants to bribe you with cup of rice, if they want to bribe, it's not with like 500k MMM. You're not their target audience. So
Can't
for
bribe
you
me
them
with
to
that.
meet
Can't even bribe
you
me with
see,
500.
but what
You
they
have to
can
bribe
bribe
me.
you with now is if they remove lights from your house for 6 months and they bribe you with 1 week of lights, you will smile.
No,
So
Definitely.
you,
I need 4 years to recover from all the investment I've done in lights.
that's what I'm saying. They have to give you a frustration that their little givings will look
Will look
like
like a
a
favor.
miracle for.
Yeah, it's so
Yes.
sad that. in June 12th that we have to reminisce on poor governance, which is a huge disservice to the people. We have to reminisce on bad governance, which is a huge challenge to the people because most of people around in Nigeria we are living on the edge. We are not guaranteed security. We are not guaranteed economic security. You are not guaranteed food security. It's just crazy. And well, we're supposed to have this conversation about the global scale, but today, I mean, pardon us that we're having this conversation. Most of us here, three of us here are Nigerians,
And we are
and
pleased.
today happens to be, yes, um, today happens to be our, you know, democracy day. So yes, maybe we are taking this particular segment and talking about governance with regards to Nigeria. Maybe next week when we're talking about governance, we'll talk about the global world. But for today, we need to talk about these things. And it's affecting us, whether directly or indirectly, it's affecting us loud and clear. And yes, we need better governance. We need a more active citizenry because, I mean, was it you, Shegun, that said that France, or was it you, Gladys, who said earlier
No,
that
it was me.
France, they like, to Shegun, they like protesting a lot. Yes, they do. And they get what they want to a very large extent. Macron,
They
there's no
know
kind
they are
of
right. They know
slapped
the
Macron.
power of their
They've poured
voice.
poo water on the government house. Those people are very creative when it comes to protest. They take it to they've got stuck naked on the streets. Interesting sets of human beings, the French. But then we need to begin to look at these things and see how that's go. Oh, our time has wave. We can keep going for all day when it comes to Nigerian government, all day, every day. So my need to, let's talk a little bit about um, the bigger African context, right? Do we think that Africa should do better
Your voice
service?
is your voice went faint.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Fantastic. Do we think that Africa should, as a continent where we most of us reside now, do we think that we should begin to have the opportunity to build better service systems than do you think that we have the opportunity to build better systems than developed economies? I mean, let's take a look at the digital public services, mobile first service delivery, WhatsApp powered ecosystems. All these are options, and even building service systems from scratch. Do you think that Africa, has the opportunity to build better service systems than developed economies? Do you think so? Do you think
Yes.
so, my co-host?
Yeah, let me answer this one, and I'll
All
be
right.
very good with it, right?
Okay.
Yes, we
Thank
do
you.
actually. To be honest, we do. And we have several examples, right?
Good.
Paystack, Flutterwave, the likes of Money Point, where Gladys said, do you still work there, Gladys? You still work with Money Point, okay. Money Point and the like, Child Deck, all of them, right? We can see products like that. Yeah, we can see opportunities that those companies, those organizations created for various people. In those companies, you will see software engineers, you will see social media managers, you see marketing managers, you will see different customer support, everybody. But imagine if those opportunities never existed. Some 20, 30, 40 years ago, right? Places like Google were the only place where most of us thought we could work, right? Places like Amazon, places like, so it was looking like you have to be in America for you to have that experience, right? But now, with Money Point has closed that gap. Flutterwave has closed that gap. They are a Nigerian product, Nigerian brand, but they are servicing different people all over the world. So the opportunity is there, right? We have that capability, even though some other sectors are suffering, right? For example, the health sector. Just recently, they said how much is a Nigerian, a public a doctor that is in a government hospital, how much is he earning? Not earning up to 200,000 or 250,000 naira. For someone that stands more than 10 hours a day, that stays there from morning to night attending to patients, and you are paying that kind of person 250K. And this the same federal owned hospitals are owned by the government, right? So that's why you see these people japa and going to places like UK and US and Canada to go and look for better experiences, places that they will pay them more, right? The opportunities are here if we get it right. Imagine if we had a health sector like Reddington. Reddington is a big hospital, like one of the best hospitals in Nigeria, Reddington, and they are located in Abuja and Lagos. I've not been inside the hospital, right? But I've seen the structure of the hospital. I've checked their website. I've seen what they have. They are also in Abuja. Now imagine if we got that health sector right, opportunities. You will see it's various people, auxiliary nurses, registered nurses, dietitians, all of them, they will be there. They will not have to travel abroad to have that experience and be paid for the value of their money. So the opportunities are actually there. If um, Africa opens its borders for its talent, create that opportunity. Some African countries are actually talk for example Kenya, right? That's why the likes of Google and the rest, they are going there. South Africa, that's why you see the big foreign companies, they are going there. They are investment friendly, right? So all those, they are creating opportunities um for the African market, but we ourselves can also create that opportunities for ourselves. And I think Nigeria is actually taking that lead already with the fintech, with the fintech side. So yeah, there are opportunities. We just have to look in depth, and we should behave like China or the Asian country where they close all their, right? They literally close all their borders from external, from the West. Created their own social media platform, created their own e-commerce platform, literally created everything by themselves, and they blew up. And when they blew up, they started investing in other things. China is a major investor in the Nigerian economy, right? Now imagine if the African country or the African continent does that. We close all our borders. Let's start developing ourselves, our talent. And you see, in the next, we don't even have to take 10 years. In the next 5 years, Africa will be a country that everybody will be calling, we want to go back to Africa. It's better in Africa than the West. So yeah, I agree.
Wow, Shagun, since you've thought about this a lot and you had quite a number of bits to say, quite briefly about the question. So I would move over to my co-host here, Gladys. Gladys, what do you think about this situation?
I have a different opinion from Shegun because one,
Interesting.
starting from his last point, if we close our borders, Walai, we would not have Starlink, and that's what most of our remote workers are relying on today. We do have the capabilities, we have the talents, but we do not have the environment. I would also acknowledge that we are doing so well for ourselves despite what we have, despite the state of healthcare, electricity, education that we have, everything. We are doing well for ourselves. I mean, we have Jumia, we have Child Deck, we have
Conga.
Golemon, we have
Conga.
this. We're doing so well, but we cannot compare ourselves to the global scale, even other African countries, because if you see companies that hire in EMEA, that A is silent. And you get why. We don't have the lights. We there's a lot. We don't have the environment for it. We have the capability, but our government, our systems have to be favorable to it. You want to start the business in Nigeria, you have policies that would shock you if it is not the rest of the things. If all these people building software developers and the rest, the world will feel so much better for talents if we had steady lights. Nobody can boast of 24/7 lights. These things that we don't have are the bare minimum in the Western world. That is why we cannot compete. No matter the amount of startups we have today, if you check on Y Combinator, you see so much more. People are just thinking. I mean, when I have light and I have everything working, I will think. I would think and come
Yeah.
up with something. How do I automate this? How do I build it? How do I? But we don't have the lights. We don't have the lights so much that people are still going to the stream to fetch water to wash for, and maybe that water to take them 2 hours instead of washing machine that will take them 30 minutes, and they have 1 hour plus to think of other creative things to do. So while we have the capabilities, we do not have the environment, the systems for it. That's my take. So we can't exceed the Western world. Their bare minimum is our aspirations for light, for healthcare, for security. We are not even investment friendly. You see, recently companies are leaving for security reasons. There's nothing we if we lock our gates, we are locking our gates. We and the bandits will be here locked. there's not there's not
Well, maybe they'll reduce the money request from 20 million to two hundred thousand.
they are not increasing it because they think somebody abroad is giving you the money. They're just charging that. So the border is not really our problem. I don't think there's anything coming from right now. We are not even exporting goods. We as a country, we don't produce enough to give out. We buy. If we lock it, we really have a lot to do before we have the confidence to dream that it's as we have aspirations, we just don't have things to support the aspirations. As a plain Nigerian, I can tell you that if we lock up, I know you we
Okay,
all
now
know
here's the
some
thing. Here's
hashtag.
the thing. Here's the thing, Gladys, right? And I hear you. But when it comes to our mobile first service ecosystems, our government banks, fintechs, and telecoms, yes, there's a lot left to be desired. But when it comes to our financial technology, I think Africa is topping the charts right now. If you
Okay,
speak to
I want to
people,
say something.
yes,
I
please
think
go
that
on.
was the first thing that was on my mind. The fact that NIBS is having problems every 3 AK market day, every day, is proof that you don't have systems that work. The fact that grid is failing and stuff. Now, I stayed somewhere in Nigeria that is owned by is residential area of an oil company, and light does not go. They have light 247. And their electrical, the wiring of the town is very similar to what I see in movies. I've never thought about it until that moment. So whether rain falls, light will not go. Why? Because the electric wiring is on the ground where water will not stop it. They don't need to dry pool for 3 days. But that's the situation in Nigeria. We are doing, like I said, we are doing so well for all that we have. But
We're adapting so well, you mean?
no, we have adapted for all that we have. With NIBS, we are still building fintech. With all that NIBS is going down. With light, though, with no data, we are still with what MTN is putting us to. We are still building so well, but we are not there. I mean, NIBS is fucking up. You see this thing that happened to Lloyd. It's happened only twice this year. Ours happens a bit more constantly. A bit more constantly. Every day, one bank or the other is complaining of it. So
True.
the environment and systems, we can't say it. No. NIBS being the sole provider of something that that services fintechs could survive better under better conditions, we would think. Under better systems, better maintenance, whatever is the problem. We don't know. If you work to fintech, you know NIBS is a problem. We don't know what is the root of the problem or the solution, but we know that it could be better. Somehow it could be better. But because we're in this environment and this system, so no. We are doing exceedingly well for where we are, but the system limits us. We can't say our fintech is not off the charts. It is the best for what we are. It's not off the charts. Lights will go. Your software developer, your cyber security person that is supposed to keep system secure. If light goes and they hack, what do you have? Nothing. So it's very limiting for us. We can't avoid it. We can't say we'll close our eyes and be delusional about it. We are doing one thing I'm proud of is Nigerians are doing amazingly well. Even in the hospitals, we have talented people. But I was staying in a town where my neighbor gave birth and she said light went and they used touch to do her delivery.
Oh,
We
that's
have
very
all
sad.
those. Imagine what doctor might forget inside someone's system with all those conditions. But we are doing exceedingly well. I mean, the amount of things we are producing, the talent we are having, but we cannot be ignorant of the gaps that this system, this environment poses on us. We
Yes, we
don't even
cannot
do
be.
medical treatment research. We
Yeah.
don't we are in such a phase that we cannot do research for future things because
Okay.
we're still not somewhere stable in the current ones. The whole world is doing research for future cancer treatment, future this, future that. We can't even do that. I remember doing my final year, we're doing projects for cancer treatment. And when you do your findings as a science student, you put it, you test something, you do it,
Yes.
you do a law. Whatever we did, somebody has to do it in a sterile environment to prove that what we did was correct because definitely our environment was not the most sterile. Imagine our environment was very, very much good. It's close to being on the level that somebody in the Western world will not need to test it 5 times. They'll trust the result. But they still have to overcheck, overcheck, overcheck. And we still don't
Mm-hmm.
have resources to journals and blah, blah, blah. So we do have a lot that our environment, which can be fixed by a lot of people, government, process, strategy, system, policies, a lot that it could fix. Fintech organizations, as much as they are doing well on the front end, there are policies blocking them on the back end from doing better, from doing more. I mean, see, we have so many cement production companies in Nigeria, but only one is popular because the rest are they are being frustrated in business.
Yeah, there's
So
claims about that, but
it's
it's
not
called
even them.
business.
Minus whatever the claims may be, if the system was better, marketing for all these other people would go well.
Well, Dangote
Yes.
is not paying taxes anyways.
You
So
see, and
that's
the
why.
tax is the
He's
tax is
not,
choking the next
Yeah, he's
person.
not paying taxes for his cement.
but he's doing something in regards to that. There has to be
Yeah,
something
sure,
else
sure.
he's doing.
He's not paying taxes and then they reduce some policies just for him. Because you know now Dangote is more like the powerhouse of
That's the
Nigeria.
thing
If,
with
if Dangote says he's not selling cement or selling sugar or any of his commodities in Nigeria, we are in trouble, right? And then he started petroleum now. He's paying taxes on his petrol, right? But he's not
that's the
paying
monopoly
taxes.
of system. Political powers, political
Exactly.
relationships are helping you
Exactly.
sustain.
So
It's
that's
killing the
it.
rest of the
So
person.
that's why most of them are popular than the other.
Okay,
Think
so
of
a quick one,
industry.
guys. Guys, quick
Hmm?
one. If you had the opportunity to redesign one service system in Africa from scratch, whether healthcare, education, transportation, government, or banking, which would you choose and why? 1 minute each. No, 1 minute,
Okay, so
30 seconds.
I think healthcare for me is healthcare, right? Health
Okay.
is wealth, right?
Okay.
Without health, we are dead. Like if there is no adequate healthcare, you can't say you want to quickly rush to the hospital and get treated, right? So
Okay.
healthcare is very key for me.
How about you?
I will
Go
change
on,
that.
Um,
please.
Thank God he has chosen healthcare because that's very critical. He can work on healthcare accessibility, blah blah blah. This is how all the leaders are supposed to choose one and focus on it for 4 years. I would
Yes.
choose education because our curriculum is can our YX students write SATs and pass? Without like can our government YX students write SATs? The curriculum has to be worldwide standard. So I would choose education. I mean, when I was in the university, this is something that so many people have can agree that it's happened to them. A lecturer was teaching me with their 1990 something notes, their own notes that they learned from their own lecturer. So you can imagine if there have been changes in this subject, it's not updated in this notes. And what is education? How will I compete with my peers? That is the thing. So I would work on education while Shagun works on healthcare, someone work on everything, and we'll get better at something. I
I
mean,
would. I'm glad nobody chose my own. I'm glad because I would. My own is government. I would work on government, and here's the reason why. Because if you fix the service
yeah.
system and the mentality in government, you could easily get the rest on a
So
whim.
you work on that so you help us fix all ours. Yes, because no matter
Ah,
what you want to do in Nigeria, every industry is affected by government and policies. So
true.
you would need to do that. That's why I say the government has a
Yes.
huge part to play in whatever we're receiving, even from businesses.
Yes, and that takes us to the big reveal. I'd like us to, start wrapping up to get towards the end. You guys have been very awesome.
What are we revealing?
Yes, 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 yes. So today we've discussed banking, transportation, government, technology, public services, and Africa's future, right? At first glance, it just seems to be like they're different stories, but they're actually one story, and that's it reveals that we have a reliability crisis across the world. Across the world, people are asking these questions at various levels, in various ways, right? Can I depend on this institution when I need it most? Now, quick one to my co host and my guest, 1 minute each. From your observation and your social listening skills worldwide, can people depend on institutions, when they need it the most? My co-host, please.
When you need it the most, that's very critical to say. I would say the businesses have a lot of work to do on their parts, but as a CX professional and a human being, try to reach out to businesses before you get to that point of needing them the most.
Exactly. I was
Honestly,
about to say that.
imagine you want to eat and you feel like, oh, if I don't drink water at this minute, I'm going to die. Don't reach out if there is like service that is super, you get you get it going before. So that's when you need them the most. I cannot say anything about that.
You cannot
Imagine
categorically
needing
say,
I cannot
aha.
categorically know when you need healthcare the most. The businesses are trying on their end, organizations, but you too be a little bit more proactive so you reach out to them before you get to that point of needing them the most.
All right. How about you, Shagun?
Okay, so I think I share the same point of view with Gladys. Really, there is no how you. The only person that can't fail you is God, right? Um, a lot of things that you rely on can fail you, right? So you can't say you're going to depend on any technology or any appliances. They will fail you one day, even your car. One day you can just say the engine will knock. It will not give you period warning, it will not tell you anything, right? It will just happen, right? So you the only way you can rely on whatever, be it product, be it whatever, right, is when you have consistently used them and you see that okay, you know that their services is top par, like you know that they can't go wrong. On rare occasions, maybe in 10 months they've only had a downtime once, or in 1 year they've only had a downtime twice, right? So then you can now say you can rely on them. But yeah, even with that, anything can happen. If the almighty Facebook or Google or WhatsApp can crash, or the big Lloyd can have issues, what is technology? It's created by man. The only person that can't fail you is God. So relying them when you need them the most is not the best thing to do. Just have a backup, right, and you'll be fine.
I
Did
agree. I
well.
agree with both of you. I
And
think that
even
there's
the relying on God, even the relying of God is subjective because you might say, oh, I'm going to this interview today, I'm relying on God so that rain will not fall. And rain will fall so that you'll be protected to stay at home. So it's very subjective.
Okay, yeah, yeah, I agree.
An open mind.
Yeah, yeah. That's a very valid point, and that's a good point, really.
I agree. I agree, guys. And it still brings us back to what we've been saying since. I think that there's a lot left on the table when it comes to service. There's a lot left to be desired in this situation, right? I completely agree with the both of you in this particular situation. Looking at the comment section, we have some of our commenters. Okay, Nigeria, my country. People are not really happy, especially today being Democracy Day. There's been lamentations all around the place. But then, why does the roundtable exist? This roundtable exists because we are going to be discussing headlines that contain service lessons. Every week we'll come here and discuss real world events, the lens of service excellence, not just customer service, service in business, service in government, service in healthcare, service in education, technology, communities, and society. Because behind every service failure is a lesson. And today being the first day, we just wanted you to know that behind every service lesson is an opportunity to build a better world. So, to our dear audience, what institution do you believe faces the biggest reality challenge today? Right? That's my final question. And to my co-host, what institution, like off the top of your head, what institution do you believe faces the biggest reality challenge today?
This is a very heavy and tough one because crisis issues comes up like part time. We can't put our hand. This one is the worst case scenario of all. This is the best case
Yes,
scenario.
yes.
But if I can't even say worldwide, it's hard because every country has different realities. Like right now, Nigeria's biggest problem, I would say, is security.
Okay, now you're
Right
looking at it from your own reality, which is the society you currently live in, correct?
Yeah, right now, but that's not the same with the rest of the world. Um,
Yes.
but I think one thing that could relate with the rest of the world is how inflation is affecting everybody. We're all never there's equality and there's equity. We don't feel equitable or whatever is the correct word with the current economic times. People are struggling in the economy. In every country, there's always lots of people struggling. So the economic part of the world and what everyone is experiencing is tough. For the masses, it's tough. That and the labor market being a crisis for a lot of people. I mean, you see even people in diaspora, like the labor market is a crisis for them, everybody everywhere. The economic part of our lives, it's quite it's going haywire right now. I mean, let me come back to Nigeria now. See, the cost of healthcare, cost of education, the cost of all these things that human beings need, basic things, are higher than minimum wage. So that's the problem. How will people afford this service that is very essential to living? Feeding, live, education, healthcare. I mean, the economy has to just somehow get better because there's a lot. Healthcare. I
All
mean,
right.
How
Okay.
about you, Shegun? What do you think?
Yeah. If I'm going to answer, I think I think it should be the government for me, to be honest. Because if the government says they are going to do X at a particular time when they enter, it doesn't really happen, right? Take for example in my area, right? There is this, okay, not my area, but my in-laws area, right? There is this place that they are doing the gutter. It's like it's a gutter for water to pass through,
okay,
right?
it's English.
Yeah, like a drainage, yes. So they have been doing that project for almost a year now, and they've not gotten to half, right, of that project. They've poured sand, they've poured cement, they've done all their rubbish, right? Because election period is almost here, right? So they want to show that they want to show workings that they are doing something, right? Now, and it's like that everywhere else. It's like that literally everywhere else. And you can tell. I went to Ogun State some couple of days ago. I used to live in that area around Amowe Bafustai. And when I saw how that area was when I left that place, it was terrible. But when I got there now, it was better. But it had to take almost 3 years after for that road to be better. So you can imagine the reliability on the government. If it was a private sector and the private companies were going through that road, they would have done the road since because their tractors are passing there, their trucks are passing there, their goods are passing there, right? They will fix it. So, but for the government, they like this red tapeism and it takes time. They have to do it for like 10 years before they achieve everything, right? And it cut across healthcare in the government side, it cuts across the policies, everything, right? So you can't rely on the government for anything is and it's one of the major challenges, right? You want them to do stuff for their citizens, but they will do it for like 5 or 10 years before you'll be able to achieve anything. So relying on the government is one of the biggest challenges, right? It's an institution that faces one of the reliability challenge anywhere else, and it's not just Nigeria, everywhere in the world. Their government are very, very slow to respond, right? I might not be in America or UK, but their system, what we see in the media, you can see that it takes a protest. It takes a protest in France for Macron to hear them. It takes a protest in Brazil for their president to hear them. It takes a protest in the UK for their prime minister to listen to them. So it's they are intentionally slow. You can't totally rely on them 100%. But in Nigeria, you can't even rely on them 5%. You would, if you want to die, rely on government for healthcare, right? So that's one of the big challenges. You're
All right, you're
muted.
very, very, yes, I just realized that. Yes, yes, you both have shared amazing comments about the situation. And to those Nigerians celebrating today's Democracy Day, um, is an unfortunate incident that our democracy has not brought us, so will I say, good dividends of democracy. We've not enjoyed dividends of democracy. That's why some school of thoughts are actually, actually calling for other forms of government apart from democracy. However, when it comes to service excellence, I think that in the world, in the global index, there's a lot that can be done. I'm sure my co-host and my guest um, do will agree with me on that. That there's a lot of work that needs to be done with regards to service excellence, and we are seeing it play across board. And then with this reliability crisis right now, that is a huge situation. Is a huge thing. A lot of people are saying is is technology not supposed to make things better? Is technology not supposed to make us much more consistency? Is the is rely as in why is reliability concerns even increasing now with the current state of tech and automations and AI and the whole, feel good stuff that we are having right now. So I would like us to take one minute, please, of our time. We don't have much time, and tell us if you have any last words with regards to um, the reliability crisis we're currently suffering globally.
Yeah. So 1 minute, right?
Yes,
To be
yes.
honest, um, in Nigeria, we actually need to do better. To be honest, only private sectors are actually sort of getting it right, because most of them know that this the the citizens, they are part of the citizens. The private sectors are part of the citizens, right? Some of them are Nigerian companies, some of them are companies from abroad or whatever, foreign companies, right? They come. They are getting it right because they know that these guys will hold them accountable, but the government is not, right? Because they know that yes, everybody will complain, everybody will talk, blah blah blah, and everybody will move on. Same thing happened when they increase the tariff for light. A lot of things. Fuel, when fuel goes up like that, it never comes down. Stuff like that happens. They know that if they do whatever they do, nothing is
Mm-hmm.
going to happen. People will just complain and okay, maybe it's just 500, maybe it's just this one. Okay, we'll cope, right? We have this
Okay.
coping mechanism.
Okay.
Um, but that needs to change, right? That needs literally needs to change. Um,
Okay.
and the only best way to for that to happen is if people like you and I are part of the system, right? Most
Yeah.
especially if we are in government, like you that said you want to be in government, be part of the system. Don't be corrupted by the system because it's very, very easy to be swayed by the system, right? There's this popular saying, when you are in Rome, you behave like a Roman. That's it. That's the thing about being in government. When you take small power, when you take small opportunities, this is the enjoyment. Oh, and this is not what I do.
Shagun,
This is not
where we
what
are
I
going, we are going to spend 5 minutes on your response. It's supposed to be 1 minute.
wait now, wait
I
now.
know you have a lot to say, but please go
Yeah,
on.
all right. But yeah, so that's it. Be part of the system, join the system, and be active. Not just be in the system, be an active member of the system. And And with that, government will be carried along, everybody, the citizens will be happy. And we'll all be glad that we are part of something that is progressive, not just stagnant or is just there. Okay, we'll manage. So that's it for me. That's my last word.
Last words, you mean? Thank you, Mr. Shago, for
All
your
right.
brilliant insight. And my co-host, please go ahead. What do you have to say about that?
Okay, so for me, I would say everyone should have a sense of accountability, a sense of
Yeah.
service, right? And I think the heavy load of it should is on the government. Think of world developed countries. If we have businesses that are being they are not being true to their purpose or their promises, the government somebody can report to the government, blah blah blah. But countries think if we think about it, some countries are very strict on things. If you report about the business, they will look into it, they'll investigate. If whatever IRS, blah blah blah, scams will be detected, things will not be left like that because the government is accountable and they are delivering on their responsibility to the people for safety, for healthcare, for education, for commerce and services. I mean, before a business exists, you register with the government, right? You do a lot of things, and the government comes to visit you somehow, somehow. So I think the government is very responsible for that. The thing with bad manners, bad everything is a top to bottom. If top lets it pass, you're letting somebody steal, you're letting things happen. Of course, people at the bottom will feel okay doing it. But if there's a standard, right, that is being delivered, we see that okay, the compliance is very strict. There is like enough processes in place, blah blah blah. Everyone will be everyone would get in line. So even for the commerce industry, businesses as a whole, I think as much as everyone, business owners, service professionals, blah, blah, should hold accountable, the government should take it in their responsibility. I mean, we have an arm of the government that is responsible for managing the commerce industry, right? Take it seriously. The same way you take fintech organizations doing the compliance bits, take service bits seriously. I think I heard recently I had a bad experience with the product and we have a website for reporting. The website is not something that is feasible to go to, but I know in foreign countries you can report things and they'll look into
Yeah.
it. Everything will be strict. And they are strict, there are companies that are very strict on their migration because they have done these policies and they have a very strict system that crime does not bad thing doesn't live there so much. So they are strict to outsiders coming. Those are the people that have closed their borders, like Shegun was suggesting we do. Those ones they can afford to close their borders because they are self-sufficient and they are well behaved at home. So they don't need new people to mess it up. So I think government has a big
Role
has
to
to
play.
yeah,
All
policies.
right.
The thing with service excellence, sorry, is beyond the professionals. Policies make it better. Like some motors better if it had like government policies favoring it. So the government should just make sure they create a favorable environment for professionals to work. We don't have lights, we don't have healthcare. For businesses to thrive, I mean, we have so many places that we have natural resources to be produced. The government just has a lot to do for things to work out well, for us to deliver on excellent services. Yeah.
All right, all right. Thank you so much, Gladys. Thank you so much, Shago. And with that, for me, my own opinion, I feel like service excellence must be something that every society, community, group should strive for, because at the end of the day, it's going to be influencing the lives of the human beings involved in it. It's all about the human beings involved in it. So if governments can do better, if individuals can do better, please let's do better and leave this world a better place. For our audience, we have a final question that will be shared in the comment section. And that final audience question is this to you: which institution faces the greatest reliability challenge today? Please, you can go over and respond or react to it. We would love to hear from you, irrespective of wherever you're watching this from. Would love to hear from you. I would love to know if um, if you are getting impacted, and in those societies, those particular services that are impacting institution that is doing well to you, would love to see them and get to investigate them further. And with that, I think that will bringing us to the end of this session. Thank you everyone who has been involved in this and making this first edition, as interesting as it can be. We promise you it will not always be this long in coming time. Thank you so much for your patience. Thank you for everything you've sticking by us, and those that would watch later. Thank you in advance for watching. And from me, Priscilla Amadi, the team at Service Culture Academy, my co-host and my guest, we say thank you for coming and see you next week.
All right.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye. It's still happy Democracy Day, Sha.
Happy Democracy Day. All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Bye,
Yeah.
everyone.